All right. So, are you able to see my screen, everyone? Is that my screen is visible?
Yes.
Yeah. Ashraf, Maliha, Oppo, everyone can be able to see my screen, right? All right. So, guys, now let's understand, whenever we are going for the cyber security, so that might be a first question is that why I'm talking about network. So I want you to understand that all the cyber attacks that can be a malware, or it can be a phishing attack, or it can be any data breach, or it can be the DDoS attack. So when we talk about this, all that occurs over the network, right? If we don't have if we don't understand how the data move between the systems, how the data moves may happens to the network, so we can't secure it. Correct? We need to understand about different type of attack vectors can be there, like what are the open ports are there, what are the misconfigurations might may happens to the firewall, what do you mean by the DNS hijacking, what is the ARP spoofing. So without networking, this will not able to understand. So there are the different traffic analysis will do it, will capture the different type of PCAPs files, to understand what are the network flows are there, what are the firewall IDS, IPS, there are the different type of logs which we are going to collect it. We're going to spot any suspicious activities happens on those logs. So we're going to see that different type of protocols like TCP/IP, HTTP, DNS. How does it works? What is the things are there? Is it normal or not? So while we are doing any incident response, also the networking is required when an incident occurs, so we can understand about attacker IP addresses, source ports, what are the the different movement they are using it, what type of systems they are working on it. So what are the OSI models are there from which layer this attack may happen. So there are the several vectors are there through which we can understand how this attack might may take place. What are the the possible ways that the exploitations might may happen. So that's the reason where we're going to discuss that in detail. You got my point, everybody? Okay. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. So that is going to give us the detail. Okay, this is how the malware attack may happen. So this is how the phishing attack may do the analysis. If you're going to the sandbox and going to run these malwares and going to see like how the analysis are there, what type of connections are they establishing, what do you mean by the get method, what do you mean by the post method, what is mean by the successful login, how those can be analyzed. So certain skill set we require here. Got it? So we need to know, how those malware behavior can be there and what are the systems. So that's the reason we are talking about the networking concept. So let's do understand something about it. What is the computer network? As we can see that today time we can share limitless range of information, services that by using the network, like documents, email messaging, website, database access, music, printers. Like we have a different a process where we can access like telephony, video conferences, cloud services. As we can see that there are different instances can be there on the cloud, or it can be like we have different type of other IoT devices that is works on internet. So it's beyond. It is getting upgrade now, right? Correct. The services are becoming a more innovative method where the networking can help them to get understand what are the way of communications they established. So if we see that what is a computer network? What do you mean by the network? So as we can see that the two computers connected with each other and they're sending certain type of information between these two computers. That can be using a LAN cable. The information passes from one computer to another computer. That is can be considered as a network. Now, if you ask me, what happens if we have the computers far away? One computer is there in United States, one computer is there in India. One computer is there in United Kingdom, other computer is there in Australia. or in any computer is there in Middle East. How does they get communicate to each other? So that is happens with the same process. They have some internet, we have the public IP address through which we connect to that, and we use a different type of protocols. It depends upon the service type which we are going to connect it. Suppose example, if you are going to connect to the web servers, right? So then the HTTP or HTTPS can be a protocol can use. So there are the several protocols are used whenever they are getting communicated. So if we can see that in a very simple way, the two computers may get connected with each other by using the LAN cable where the information is carried. Now, what if else if we have more than two computers? So in that case, we can see we use some central medium that can be considered as a hub here. So here we can see that there is an hub and where we have connected here. So this is an hub and we can see that the multiple computers is connected where the information may travel. So this is a very simple diagram where you can see that the hub should be look like something like this hub of which we can consider, and we have the LAN cable through which it get connected. Now, while we are connecting, there are the required the different type of adapters. So that can be Ethernet adapters, wireless adapter, wired adapter, Bluetooth adapter, which already inbuilt with our computers. If you're going to run some command like something like this, let me just show you. If I'll go to the my command prompt. If I type the command call as in if config hyphen all, I can be able to see all the adapters here. Are you able to see these guys here? Right? Wi-Fi adapter, LAN adapter, virtual adapter. So whatever we have connected in order to get an access to the services where we can be able to see those information here. Now, if I'll go some further more about it, let's understand. The computer has two type of addresses. One is a permanent address, other is a temporary address. So permanent address is nothing but it can be considered your MAC address. MAC address is a physical address which is of 48 bits or 6 byte, which cannot be get changed. It's fixed with the NIC card. But when I talk about the logical address, is a temporary address which is going to be get changed when we are changing the services. Like if you are changing the network, if you are changing some ISP, then the IP address might get changed. Now it is of for 32 bits. So IP version 4, if I'm talking about it, the size of that is as a 32 bits here. So what we got to know that the computer address is a permanent address, the IP address is a logical address. That is a temporary address. Let me give you one simple example. Let's understand that. Imagine a situation. We have our computer. Okay, this is my laptop. Let's see that. So these laptop is connected to the one of the network here. So let's see that this is my router and we have connected to the one of the ISP services. Let's say that this is my one of the ISP services. Now, when I connected that, so when I'm connecting to this, I'm getting one IP address, correct? Everyone, through which I'm getting access to the network. Let's take an example. This IP address can be something like this: 192.168.0.10. I got this IP address through which the router has allocated at this IP address for this user. Now, the similar way, this computer also contain something called as a hardware address. Okay, there is something hardware address. It's nothing but your MAC address can be considered. So MAC address or the hardware address are similar here. For example, how it would be look like. So it's something like this here. You can see that. If you see that here we have the physical address, right? This physical address is the MAC address. Let's say 94E23C1C5994. This can be considered as one of the hardware address. Okay. So if I see that this is the hardware address which is always fixed with my NIC card, network interface card here. Okay. It's like this is a hardware address where you can see it. So this is will be the same when I'm connecting to this computer here. I can see that this is my MAC address here. Okay. Now, guys, here I have the private, public, other IP addresses also. So let's see that this is my office network. This is my office network. Now, what happens, guys? The same scenario, if I'll talk about it, the same system where I have it. Here I have the same systems and same process. Now I connected to my home network. So in this case, Israel get the same IP address what I have it here. See, I have this 192.168.0.10 when I'm there in the office network. Now I changed my network. Now I came to the home network. Do you think like I'll get the same IP address? No, right? It might be a different, it's something be like 192.168.1.100. Might be a possibilities are there, correct or not?
Yes.
You, it gets changed. Even my private IP address or it may be a public IP address. Obviously, it's going to be changed. But I'm connecting with my same computer here. My laptop is same. I was connected to that to my office network. Now I connected this laptop to my home network. So in that case, the physical address will be the same, right? The permanent address because this is the hardware address, correct? Because I'm not changing my machine here. I have not changed my laptop here.
Yes. Correct.
So in these case, what I would like to explain you that so whenever we are saying that here, the MAC address is a permanent address, the IP address is a logical address. So MAC address, when I see that, which is consists of 48 bits or the 6 bytes. So why it is the 48 bits? So 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. Okay. 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. So we have like 6 octet here. One, two, three, four, five, six. So 6 into 8 is 48, right? So in the form of bits, we can say the 48 bits. In the form of bytes, we can say the 6 bytes here. So the first 24 bits, where we can see that the first 24 bits is can use to identify the vendor, which is same for all the adapter from the same vendor here. And the last 24 bits is used for the universal unique number here. So let's say that an example, this is our MAC address. This is the MAC address. So at this point, the beginning 3 octet, which we can see that here. So these 3 octet is used for the vendor identification, and these 3 octet can be used for the user identifications here, right? That is a universal unique number we can see. But here, if I'll say that this is not the unique, this number will be not it is not only for one machine. This will be the same for the same vendor, either if you have 100, 200, 300, 500, whatever it may be. It means like the same company laptop, 20 users is using. Let's take an example. So their beginning 3 octet will be the same because this is a vendor identification. These number will be a different. You got my point, everybody? Correct? Okay. Let me show you something here. Let me copy this beginning three. Now what we'll do it, we'll go to the one of the URL here. Let's say that this URL can be considered OUI lookup. Okay. OUI lookup is nothing but organization's unique identity here. So if I'm opening here, now here I put this 3 octet 94E23C. Find this. Are you able to see that? Which vendor is that? Intel Corporate. It says
Yes.
that this is an Intel Corporate here. The similar way, if I talk about my router is when I'm getting connected to the internet, obviously I have the router here. So if I'll say that this is the router MAC address I have it. So 80830CE. Let me just copy this. And what I'll do it, I'll paste this here. One of the other MAC address I have for it. So it says that the Fiber Home Telecommunications Technology Co. Limited here. It's like this is the company where this is a vendor we can say that where they have created this. This is how the beginning 3 octet can be used as vendor, and this can be used as a universal number here. Is that so clear, everyone?
Yes.
Yeah. So whenever we see that the MAC address, which is in the form of hexadecimal, it is always there into the hexadecimal where we can see that. So MAC address, it looks similar like this here. Last 24 it will be there. Now if we'll see that what is the use of this MAC address? What exactly does it? So it's a unique hardware identifier where we can see that assigned to every NIC card set. So whenever we connected to the computers, whenever we getting access to the internet, so over that internet might be a different devices are there. So each device will get identified with the help of these MAC address. So that help to identify or track any devices on the network. It also can be used for the access control. So if you go to the the network setting, we have some MAC filtering process that may allow or block specific MAC address to get an access to the network. Even we do the network monitoring, so we use the Wireshark or we can trace the different traffic by using this MAC address. We do the incident response and other different MAC authentications also can be used in order to get an access to the network. Those are the purpose. So whenever any packet reaches to your device particularly, that is happens because your device has been getting identified based on the MAC address. Correct? Is that clear, everybody? Tell me yes if it is all clear.
Can you repeat it again, sir, please?
Yeah. See, when we are connected to the network, we have the router, right? Over the router, we have the five. Over the Wi-Fi router, we have five users are connected to that. So whenever you send any request, a particular request will reach back to your device only. Correct?
Yep, so I'm getting it.
So how does it is happens? It happens because of the MAC address. So it means like the MAC address, whenever we talk about it, all it is a unique identifier. It's a unique hardware identifier which assigned to the particular device card. So the device which this unique number, the MAC address, which help identify devices which are there on the network. Okay. So whenever
Okay.
whatever the multiple devices are there on the network which are getting identified. Now there are the certain MAC addresses only we going to allow it. So we have the MAC filtering process here that comes into the access control. So we want to make it some access control. We don't want some other the MAC address to be get connect to the network. So we can use the MAC filtering where we can allow or block the specific MAC address which we are targeting. We got to know that. We do different type of network monitoring, network tracking, all those activities by finding out the particular MAC filters. You got it now? What is the use of that? Correct?
Yes, the MAC address is identifying the particular gadget,
Yes, yes. We can say that.
while the IP address is the network connected to.
Yes. Through which the communications happen. Or the
Okay.
source like through which we are getting them.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, this is how the physical address is. Now if I talk about the logical address, this is an IP address. So IP address is known as the logical address of the computer system. So it's a combination of four octet, as you can see that octet 1, octet 2, octet 3, octet 4. Each octet is consists of 8 bits, 1 byte and 8 bits here. So we can see that 1 byte is equal to the 8 bits. So that's the reason 4 into 8 is a 32 bits or 4 byte the matter IP address is calculated. Now let me give you some more detail about this. So let's see that if I'm going to see the IP address of my computer. So here we can see that whenever I'm getting access to that, I have one IP address here. So this is the IP address of my computer here. So here, if you see this, 192.168.29.234 we have it, right? So this is an IP address where I have it. So when I have this IP address here, when we can see that, so over this, what we have it here, we can see that any IP addresses, whenever we are seeing it, it is consists of the two things here. This octet. How many octet we have guys here? Can anybody tell me that? How many octet we have it here? One octet, two octet, four octet. How many? Four octet, right?
Four.
Yes or no? So one, two, three, four. Four octet we can see. So whenever we see that any IP address, so these IP address, it is it is divided into two forms. One is called as network. The other part is called as a host here. So whenever we see that it is divided in the form of network and host. Now, what do you mean by the network and host? Anybody can answer me that? What is the network?
Host
What is our
host is every PC or computers, and network is two, four, five different types of network.
yes. So whenever we see that any IP address is contained about the host, that is are nothing but the devices, and the network can be anything which is these devices connected. Correct? So it's like what network it can be. So network portions are nothing but which identify what network a device belongs to it. It's help us to for routing or sending the packets. We can see that. So the host portions are nothing but is a specific device within the network. So we have different type of devices that will be there here. That's how it can be get identified. So it depends upon the classes. The IP address have a different classes here. So that will be like we have the class A, class B, class C, class D. So let me just make it class B, class C, class D, class E. So these are the five classes can be there here. So mostly we'll see that the class A and class B, class C on the corporate network everywhere. We have these three IP addresses are there, public, private, or anywhere where we can see it. These are been used for the different research and some other purposes. So any IP addresses ranges can be there in between 0 to 255. Correct? Have you ever seen like beyond that? No. We'll see 0 to 255. Total 256, including 0 here. This is how the IP addresses will be there. So let me tell you that how it would be there. What are the ranges? So let's see that. If I talk about this IP address, how it look like, let's understand. We have the class A IP address. So the ranges are 0 to 126. This is a class A. The same thing if I'll talk about the class B, where the ranges are 128 to 191. The same thing if I'll talk about the class C, the ranges are 192 to 223. The class D, which is used for the some other purpose, 224 to 239. The class C. And the class E can be like 240 to 254. So these are the classes where we have it here. So based on these classes, where we'll see what are the network and host are there. But if you notice here, between 126 to 128, I have missed something. What is that? 120.
127.
Now, what is this 127 actually? Why what is the purpose of this? So this will be considered as local host, which are there within our computer, where we can access the different services, we can test the services. If you've been working as a web application developer, right? So we can't take that application live directly. So first we're going to see like how it's working, right? What is the function of that? So that we need to track it, and based on that, it will take a live. So that is happens on your local host, where you can be able to check what is that function, how it's going to be working. That will be a fixed IP address that can be a private, address for our computer within that, where we can. Now here the class A, class B, and class C. So if I talk about the class A, so how many network and how many hosts can be there in the class? So class A will contain one network and there is three hosts. So this is the class A here. The class B contain we have two network and there is two hosts will be there. And if I'll say that, so there are the two hosts will be there. And the same thing if I'll talk about the class C, which contain three network. And how many hosts can be there, guys?
One.
One host will be there. Very good. So one host will be there here. So we have the one host for this one. So we can see that there is a three network, one network, three hosts in the class A IP address. Class B, we have like two network, two hosts. And class C, we have a three network, one host. So if I'll say that here, let's take example. I have one IP address, 10.0.2.10. Let's take example. I have this IP address as 10.0.2.10. So here, first of all, we have to understand this belongs to which class. So first octet you have to see that. Is there anything between 0 to 126 is a class A? Anything between 128 to 191 is can be considered as a class B. Anything between 192 to 223 it can be considered as a class C here. So what class is this, guys, everyone?
Hey,
Class A, right? Ganesh, is that clear? Arfat, are you there?
Can you repeat it, sir?
Can you tell me that this IP address belongs to which class? Class A, class B, or class C?
I'm not sure.
See, the range is there na here. Can you see that? As I said you, the range is 0 to 126 is
Okay,
class
0
A.
to 120, yeah, plus A, 0 to
128 to
120.
190. Yeah. So we have to see the first octet and identify that is a class A, class B, or class C. So this is a belongs to the class A IP address, right? 0 to
Yeah.
126 if we consider. So the same way, if I have another IP address, let's say that in example, 100.0.2.11. I have another IP address. Now I have these two IP address. So first you understand this IP address. This IP address belongs to which class? A, B, or C? Class A, right? As you
class
can
A.
see this. 120, 0 to 126 is 100. It's like under this range is a class A. So in the class A, how many network and how many hosts we have it?
One network,
One
three
network.
hosts.
One network and three hosts, right? Correct. Now these both are belongs to the same like same class here, class A, class A. So are they belongs to the same network or different network here?
They belong to same network.
Are you sure?
Different
Ganesh,
network.
different network. Why? Give me the
Because
reason.
that's 10 and 100.
Yes, 10
Okay,
and 100
yes,
is different, right? 10 is not equal to
yes.
100. That's the reason these belong to the different network. That might be a same class, but different network. Because we have to see that in the class A, at least one network should be matched. So here we can see that 10 and 10, the first octet should match here. So if I'll talk about the class B here, let's take an example. If I'll take in the class B here, so let's say that class B IP address, we have something like this. 172.33.58.21. Let's take example. I have one IP address, this one. So this belongs to class B, correct everyone? Yes or
Yes.
no? So how many network, how many hosts will be there here?
Two
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 network.
network, two
network, two
hosts.
hosts.
So it means like these are the two network, right? This will be considered as a two network, two host here. This is like that we have it. So this is the network and this is the identifier. So here we have to match the two network if any IP address is there. So 172.68.58 sorry 58.22. If I have this IP address, are they belongs to the same network or different network?
Different network.
Different network, right? Now here the condition
Yes.
changes. Here the conditions is that only one network should match. But in the class B, how many networks should match? Two network, right?
Two.
If they are belongs to the same IP, same network here. So 172.33 is a one network, 172.68 is another network. The similar way in the class C also, very simple. Let me give you one final example here for the class C. Example, if we can say that 192.168.0.1. Let's take one IP address I have it. The same thing, I have another IP address as 192. Sorry, what happened? 192.168.1.1. 1.2. Let me make it this. So can you see that are they belongs to the same network or different network?
Different network.
Why?
Because of the 0 and 1. Same class,
Yes.
different network.
Because of three networks should match here, right? So the zero is different, one is different in the last octet. So that's the reason only they are from the different networks we consider. In case if it is a zero, in this case, these are belongs to the same network. You got my point, everybody? Is that so clear?
Yes.
Okay. So this is how it will be there. Now, this is all about the network we have seen. Now, what about the host here? What is the host range can be there? So any host value when we are talking about are there between 0 to 255, correct? Yes or no? Any IP address is 0 to 255, right? So here, when we have the host as a 0 to 255, so what happens? Always make sure that 0 will be never your IP address. It is used for subnet mask. It is used for the subnet mask. Whenever we see that, it is used for the subnet mask. Now, what is a subnet mask? I'll tell you later. Don't worry about it. Then if I'll talk about any IP address, if I'll talk about the one which is not used, it is for the default gateway. That will be considered as for the router. One can be used for the gateway here. The second we have it, something called the 255, which is used for broadcast, which can be used for the broadcast IP address. So these are the fixed whenever we see them. And here, 2 to 224 can be considered. It depends upon the hardware capabilities. That will be considered as the devices. That can be a users here. So over this user, 0 is used for subnet mask, 1 is used for the gateway, and 255 is used for the broadcast. Now, broadcast IP address also have the broadcast MAC address. That is something called as the FFFFFF like this. So whenever we see that, some of bin can be used as the MAC address here. The broadcast MAC address where we can see. Let me show you something. So here we can see that any IP address ending with the 0, I said you is called as a subnet mask, which is used for the network identifier. You don't worry, we'll discuss that. The default gateway, one is getting as a default gateway. So the similar way, as I said you that any IP address ending with a 255. So this is a 255, it's called as a broadcast. And the broadcast address is FFFFF here. So 255 FFFFF here. As you can see that 255. Wherever you see that the 255 is ending, it's called as FFFF, right? Yes or no, everyone?
Yes.
Okay. So that's the broadcast address will be there. So any IP address when we are talking about it, it will come something like this. Is that so clear, everybody?
Yep.
Okay. Now 2 to 254, it can be there here. Now, if I say that this IP address, let me take an example here. So if we are saying this IP address, we have it this IP address as 172.16.254.1. But also we have some numbers here, right? 101011000000010000, something like this. What is this numbers is all about? So these number can be considered as a binary number. Okay. So whenever we see that any IP address are there into the binary form for the computer, we'll understand 172, but the computer will not understand this 172. The computer will take this as as 10101110. So it takes into the binary form. Let me explain you how this it can be there, what type of information is there. So example. So the binary form, whenever we talk about it, it will comes in the form of zeros and one. We have the zeros and one. Based on that, it will be. So we know that one IP address is of one octet is of 8 bits, correct? Yes or no? Everyone.
Yes.
So minimum value will be the 0, maximum value will be the 1. So it means like it will be something like this here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is our my, you can consider this is the 8 bits for the 0 here, where you can see that. The same way, if I talk about it, it is also there as 1. So 8 bits for the 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I believe. 2, 3, 4, yes. So this is 4, then 5, 6, 7, 8. So here we can see that. So we have the 8 bits for when we talk about the 1 here. So 8 bits for 1 we have it, 8 bits for 0 0. So how this is calculated? It calculates based on the 2 base to the 2 and the power to the base 0 here. So it will be calculated something like that. 2 to the power of 0, 2 to the power of 1, 2 to the power of 2, 2 to the power of 3, 2 to the power of 4, 2 to the power of 5, 2 to the power of 6, and 2 to the power of 7. So when I say that like this, so it means like, can I say that 2 to the power of 7 is equal to something like 2 into 2 into 2 into 2, 2 into 2 into 2. Correct or not? 7 times 2,
Correct.
right? Correct,
Yes.
everyone? So what is the
Yes.
multiplications of this? So 2 into 2 is 4. 4 2 times are 4 2 times are 2 is
8,
8. 8 2 times are 16.
16,
16 2 times are 32.
32,
32 2 times are 64.
4,
64 1 2 times are 128. Correct?
128. Yes.
Yes or no? So here it means
Yes.
like whenever we are seeing that 2 to the power of 7, so that value can be considered as 128. Like, 2 to the power of 6 it will be considered as 64. This is 32. This is 2 to the power of 4, 16. 2 to the power of 3 is 8. 2 to the power of 2 is 4. 2 to the power of 2 is 2. 2 to the power of 1 is 2. 2 to the power of 0, how much?
Is 0.
0. Arfat, Malaya, Maliha, Gokul, Ganesh, anyone? Guys, I'm not audible. Might be you're speaking. No, somebody's okay. See, anything power 0 is 1. Always make sure.
Yeah.
Anything power 0 is 1. So
1.
we consider this is as 1. Now what I'm gonna do it, I'll do the sum of this. Let us do the sum of this. What value will get it? Let's understand that. So if I'll say that if I'm taking as 128, sorry, 128 plus 64 plus 32 plus 16 plus 8 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1. So how much we got, guys, here?
255.
255, right? We got total as
Yeah.
255. So it means like this is 255 we got it. Now if I'll do anything with 0, 0 into 0 is 0 only. 0 plus 0 is 0 only. Right or not? So can I
Yes.
consider as a 0 to 255 here? Yes or no? Just
Yes.
ranges.
Yes.
Now
Yes.
the same thing if I'll say that 172, if I'm talking about it, let's say that if we are talking about the 172, so the 172 is for us is the 172. For the computer is 1 0 1 0 double 1 double 0. Correct? Yes or no, everyone?
Yes. Correct.
So
Yes.
2 to the power of 0, 2 to the power of 1, 2 to the power of 2, 2 to the power of 3, 2 to the power of 4, 2 to the power of 5, 2 to the power of 6, and 2 to the power of 7 here. So whenever we say that here, based on these calculations will be done. So whenever we are saying that the 0, anything plus 0 is 0. So we can ignore these zeros. We'll take only the one value. Why we are ignoring 0? Let me show you that. So if I'll say that here, 2 to the power of 7 is how much? We know that 128,
127.
28.
right? Now 2 to the power of 6 is 0 here, na? According to this. So that is the reason I'll say that 0 here. Then 2 to the power of 5,
64.
no, then 64 is 0. 2 to
32.
the power of 6, yes, 32. Then 2 to the power of 16 is 0. 2 to the power of 3 is how much? 8. Correct? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Now 2 to the power of 2 is
4.
4. Then this is 0 plus 0 plus 0. Correct or not? So it means
Correct.
like
Yeah.
128 plus 32 plus 8 plus 4. So if we'll do this calculation, if we'll do the sum of these, what value we get it? Let's understand. 128 plus 32 plus 8 plus 4. What we got, guys? Sorry, I have done 2 times. 128 plus 32 plus 8 plus 4. So how much we got it?
172.
So 172, right? So this is 172 only, correct? Yes or no?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Now let me make you one more thing, guys, here. Let's understand this. I request, let us do the calculations, like it make it more easy. Let us take in calculations as a binary calculation for some of the IP addresses. Okay. I want you to give me some of the IP address. We'll do the binary calculation. I want you to tell me, any IP address, whatever you wanted. You can put in the chat as well.
192.168.1.1.
You mean like, 192.168.1.1. So can you just give me some more? Okay, we'll do that. 192.168.1 is fine. Can we change something here? Because one is same calculations, right? Some other number, can I make it this as something like 20 or something like that? Is that
Yeah.
okay? Okay. Because one is same. Again, we don't need to do the calculation. So we have to take it this calculation. I want, like, we have to calculate the binary number for this 192.168.1.20 here. So first thing is that we know that if I'll take all one, the binary number all one, if you are taking it, what would be the value, guys?
255.
No, yeah, 255. So it will be something like this: 128, then 64, then 32,
32.
then
16.
16,
8.
then
4. 2. 1.
4 through 1, right? Yes, this is will be there. So the most important thing is that first we have to see what is the sum of these. The maximum sum of these can be a 192. That we have to do. So it means like, let me make this something like this. So first what I'll do it, 128 plus 64. Okay. So if I'll do the 128 plus 64, what we are getting it?
192.
92.
So in this case, may I say you that the binary value for this can be considered as, like, whenever we are seeing the binary value for this process here, so we can see that this will be considered as this is 1, this is 1, and this is all 0. Can I say that, guys? Yes or no? So
Yes.
1, 1. So we can see that this is 1, 1, 2 ones, and 6 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is a binary value for 192. Now let's do for 168. So what would be the maximum of 168 can be there? So if I'm taking the 168, 128 plus 64, I can't take it. Correct or not? If I'll take 64, what happens? It will be
Negative.
192,
Can
right?
exceed,
So I
yeah.
can't take. So can I take 32?
Yes.
So 160 is taking, right? 160. So I'll take 128, 32, then directly 8. Correct or not? Plus 8. It will be 168. Correct? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
So it means like the binary value can be like 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0. Correct or not?
Yes.
Correct.
Right? So it will be like 10, then 1000. This is will be considered as a value for 168. Now, if I'll say the 1, it's very simple now. 1 is very
Yeah, it's
simple.
0, 0,
Correct.
0, 1.
Right. It means like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then this is 1. Correct. Because this is 0, 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 this is 1. This will be as a binary. 2 to the power of 0 is 1, right? So this is how it can be done. Now, if I'll say the calculation is 20, you can see very easy, right? 16 plus
Yeah,
4,
16, 4.
right? So it means like 0,
0,
0,
0,
0.
0.
Then this is 0. This is 0 and this is 0. Correct or not? So means like we can see that three zeros, then 1, 0, 1, 0, 0. Yes or no, everyone? Are you getting my
Yes.
point? So this is the binary values. Let's see that what the computer says that. This is we have done. Let's see that the computer how it's calculated. Okay. So give me 1 minute. Okay. Okay. So here we'll do the calculations for this IP address. Okay. So the IP address what we are taken as 192.168.1.20. Correct or not? This was our IP address, right? Everyone.
Yes.
Now the computer have done this the binary calculation. So for the 192.168.1.20, if we'll see that, so we'll see what value we are getting it here. So we'll copy this. I'm just going to paste that according to what result we got it. So if we see that this is our same or not, double one, all zeros, 10, 10, 1000, 10, 10, 1000, all zeros one, then triple zero, 10, 100, triple zero, 10, 100. Correct or not? Everyone. Yes.
Yeah, correct.
So with this, what we got to know that whenever we are seeing that the IP address, this is how the binary form can be there here. Okay. Got it? Till here, everyone is clear. Am I clear, everyone? Till here?
Yeah,
Yes.
very clear.
Okay. So this is how, like, the IP addresses are there. We'll see more detail. We're going to discuss more detail. What do you mean by the network address translation, NAT, PAT? What is the public IP? What is the private IP address are there? What is the difference between IP version 4 and IP version 6? How does it work? How the IP address can be allocated? What is the role of the DSCP, the dynamic host configure protocols? We'll see about all the complete process of DSCP when it's allocating an IP address. What is the process? What type of the communications happens between the device and the DSCP server. So all those details along with that, the network devices like switches, routers, what are exactly the different type of topologies can be there, what type of the different networks we have it. If we are designing the network, what are the network architecture will be there. So all those things are detailed we are going to discuss. It's around 5 hours we're going to spend on the networking. So you'll get a complete idea. Then we'll start about the security session. All right. So this is what for today's session. Tomorrow at the same time with the same link we're going to meet and we'll discuss further about this topic. Is that okay, everybody, till here?
Yes.
Perfect. If you face any difficulties, if you think like something is going fast or something like that, you can ask me the questions, you can pause me, like, make it more interactive. That will be a more understandable for us to get more subject on it. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So thank you
Okay.
very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you very
night.
much.
Yeah.
Good
Thank you.
night. Bye bye. Good night.
Good night. See you tomorrow. Take care. Bye, everyone.
All right. Bye.